Welcome back, legends. I hope you're all amazing. On today's video, we're going to be checking out the HM808 from Airis Effects, all the way over in Canada. I've featured a few of their pedals before. I'm a massive fan of their electric dragon pedal that essentially puts a TC integrated preamp and a Tubescreamer into one box. You can use them separately. This is a little bit of a different concept where you have a fusion between a Boss HM2 and an Ibanez Tubescreamer, but rather than just a Tubescreamer circuit and an HM2 circuit sitting in the same box, you've got this blend between the features of each. Really straightforward controls on here. You've got volume, gain, low, and high. What I want to do is start off using this as a boost. A lot of people who are going to be interested in this will want to hear it into an already crunchy amp to see if it can do the Titan Tubescreamer thing and if it can do the Chainsaw HM2 thing, and it can definitely do both things. So PRS DGT and Drop D, I'm going into the HM808 into my Soldano Astro. I'm on the Purple Galaxy. What I'm going to do here is bring the low control down to tighten everything up, and I'll use the high control sparingly just to add a bit of extra spice and bite. I can then bring some clipping in from the gain control. Let's go. Turn the low control all the way down, it's taking out quite a lot of low end on there. You can use that to tighten things up. You can crank up the high control on there and really get a kind of interesting bitey pre-boost on there. As soon as you crank the low and the high control and introduce that gain control on there, you get that kind of HM2 style clipping. We will hear this into a clean tone a little bit later on in this video so that we can kind of hear that blend between what I consider two of my favorite just straight up drives. The HM2 does a great Gilmore style kind of smooth fuzz with single coils, and then the Tubescreamer, well, it's a Tubescreamer. You know what that does. While we're still rolling with this distorted sound, though, I just want to play a little bit more with this because I feel like there's some kind of really unique points in between the two signature sounds we'd think of with a Tubescreamer doing the Tubescreamer thing and an HM2 doing the HM2 thing. It feels like more than the sum of the parts on here, which I think is the important thing with a pedal like this, because you can just go out and buy a cheap HM2 clone or a cheap Tubescreamer clone out there. You could run them together and it might cost you less than this. The fact that this is a fusion of the two circuits is going to get you things you can't get out of the individual pedals. And we did have one cat photo bomb as we were going. We may have some more as we go. So what I'm probably going to lean into is balancing out the volume and the gain. I like the clipping circuit in there. These multiple gain stages is pretty interesting. And we'll play around with the high control mostly because I haven't turned it down yet. We do need to hear that. Down, bring the bass up, and slamming the volume and gain into an already dirty amp definitely gets you into doom and sludge territory on there. Again, not something I would associate with an HM2 or an 808, but the fusion in there is what this is all about. I've got the Strat now and a very clean guitar sound with a bit of delay and reverb. What I want to hear is the kind of hybrid drive I can get out of here. We'll start out with some kind of typical Tubescreamer-y settings on here. I just want to add a little bit of grit. Then as I bring the low and the high control up a little bit and the gain, we're going to transition more into that smooth HM2 style fuzz. Neck pickup of a Strat, we get this. love that. It's a little bit more smooth and a little bit more kind of articulate than what I would consider with a typical HM2 setup for a fuzz style tone on there. The fact that you've got the range in the gain control, that's a little bit different, and the EQ that is a little bit different to, say, a typical Tubescreamer drive actually gives you a lot of control in there. And if you were to look at this pedal, you might not expect to get those sort of sounds out of that. It can do the brutal slammed HM2 thing. It can do the super tight modern Tubescreamer thing, but it can also be super sensitive and articulate. So it's kind of like one of those don't judge a book by its cover kind of pedals on there. You know, if this was some kind of minimalist design on there and they called it the Cork Sniffer Pro or something like that, I'm sure a lot of people would be going, oh wow, it's so touch sensitive and amazing. Well, it is touch sensitive and amazing. It's just got a different graphic scheme on there. And I'm sure probably 95% of the people who grab one of these are going to be using it for the tones we heard at the start of the video. But this is the beauty of a pedal like this that isn't just a straight up one-to-one clone of a classic pedal, is you can find sounds that you may not expect out of it. And I think that's a real strong point on here. I dig it. Well done, Airis. Again, they've done something just a little bit out of the box on here. You've got your familiar, comfortable sounds in there, but you've got the range to find some new stuff. If you would like to know more information about this pedal, I'll put a link in the video description. Thank you to Airis for sending it out to me to make this video. I've got some videos with their other pedals on the channel. And if you like what I'm doing on the channel, links to my Patreon and the music that I make with Ragdoll in the video description. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.